So we'll be talking about the international relation, how to choose the most appropriate methods, and what are the factors necessary for choosing the most appropriate method. So the first is the nature and class of international transaction. Then the associated enterprises nature and class we have to identify. Then the resources data we have to collect. Then there is a comparative between the international transaction and the uncontrolled one. And then there is reliable and accurate adjustments. Then assumptions. So there are 6 steps. First is the class of international transaction of the associated enterprise, and the reliability of information required, then the assumptions, then the comparison, and the adjustments. So the next is first is the uncomparable uncontrolled price method. So in this, when the goods are sold between two associated enterprises, then this method is being used comparable uncontrolled price method for computing the arm's length price. So the next is the steps involved for finding the uncontrolled price comparable uncontrolled price method is first to evaluate the amount the price charge in the uncontrolled transaction, then adjusting the amount, then the adjusted price is the arm's length price, and it has to be compared with the international transaction. If the adjusted price is more than the international transaction or vice versa, then the amount needs to be adjusted. So there are 5 things. First is they identify the price, then identify the price, make adjustments, and the adjusted price then is the arm's length price, and then we need to compare it with the international transaction price charge, and then at the end we have to make changes to brought in par with the arm's length price. So here is the comparable uncontrolled price method, which means which is used when there is sale of goods between the two associated enterprises, and then we have studied about how to choose the most appropriate method, what are the features, what are required. So first thing is the nature and class of international transaction, and the associated enterprise, and the availability of data resources, and then the degree of comparability, extent to which adjustments required to be made, and the assumptions.